Manager in Canonical, and currently I'm leading the MARCOM activities in OSM. Together with me is Beierl, who is in the Technical Steering Committee for OSM. So thank you, Mark, for joining. First of all, I am really happy to see you all here and would like to welcome you in this event. And I would also like to thank you all to submit your proposals and appreciate that you would like to talk about your experiences and success stories in OSM. So I'm really looking forward to hear you all. Okay, so now before starting the presentations, I will talk a few minutes to brief you all through some logistics, agenda, and as we all are here, so I would also like to give an overview of upcoming release 11, which is going to be landing soon, and Mark will be covering every feature in detail later. So a couple of logistics first. Please try to enter your name in the GoToMeeting settings so we can better identify you. If you're speaking or asking any questions, then please use headsets if you can, like we can have a better voice quality. And also please mute your mic if you are not presenting so we can avoid any noise and have smoother presentations. The next one is for the slides. You can have access to the slides from any speaker on this wiki link, and please upload yours if you haven't done yet. And at the end, just to let you know, these sessions are recorded and will be posted on YouTube. So let us know if you have any issues with that. Okay, moving on, the agenda for today. So it will be 6 sessions. Every session will be of 20 minutes, and I would recommend to please take care of the time slot. Starting by welcoming you all, we will move towards the talk by Hamid, and then we will have insights from University of Bologna and Whitestack on MEC application deployments with OSM. Then we, Canonical, will be presenting our version of OSM, that is jammed OSM, and how you can easily debug and operate the OSM. Then we will have a group picture where I request you all to participate and turn on your cameras according to suggestions so we can have a perfect picture for our community and all the participants who are actually participating today. Then after a short break, we will have a talk on network slices by 5G Zoro and overview of Tata OSM distribution. And at the end, we will wrap up with our last session, that is platform as a service driven interoperation between OSM and Kate Space Edge platform by Telecom. So too many exciting topics are here today. Okay, so now here we are happy to announce that OSM has reached its 11th version, and these are the key highlights which has been covered in the latest release. So first of all, we now have the support of standardized VNF and network service package formats, which makes OSM more interoperable to the other HCNFE components. For VNF package, OSM now supports the NFE SOL 004, and for network service package, it supports SOL 007 specifications. Before going forward, do we have any questions on logistics and agenda for today? Any concern or? Okay. Coming back to this HC specifications for VNF package, OSM now supports SOL 004 and network service supports 007. Then now OSM, in addition to Microsoft Azure and AWS, now providing the support for Google Cloud as a virtual infrastructure manager to actually deploy and manage workloads on Google Cloud platform. Then following the trends of shifting towards cloud native, this OSM release was more focused on improving operations for cloud native deployed by OSM with the help of one of its main component, that is Juju. And additionally, we have better integration now between multiple network functions, whether they are virtualized or containerized. So if these multiple network functions are part of same network service, different components of these network functions can be now easily related and can take information from each other. Then from the monitoring perspective, we have enhanced metrics for CNFs monitoring that has been deployed on Kubernetes cluster. And last but not the least, OSM community installer is now supporting the latest 3.2 LTS release 2004 and provides better understanding of installation usage and better troubleshooting information. So I guess with that being said, I would again welcome you all and would love to hand over to Mark to give you a brief intro of individual features which I have just described. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Gia. So hi, I'm Mark Beierl, a TSC member, and would like to just dive in just a little bit about the new features for Release 11. And also to announce that the second release candidate for Release 11 is actually available. So if anyone is interested in installing the Release 11 release candidate, you know, a tech preview, if you will, ahead of the official release announcement, which will happen next week, that is certainly something that you're able to do. We can give you links and pointers for that. So I'm going to dive just a little bit into a little bit further detail of some of the features that we have. So Sol 4 and Sol 7. These are solution specifications from ETSI, and they're sort of, you know, industry alignment, and part of the focus of the ETSI plug tests is to show interoperability between various different pieces of software when it comes to these specifications. So OSM has been aligned with Sol 5, which you see in purple right now up there. We've been aligned with Sol 5 for some time now, and this is a kind of a northbound interface. This is for OSS integration. We're not completely aligned. There are ongoing efforts and tests that we're doing to continue to improve our implementation and alignment with the specification. And that is something that's definitely regularly tested, and our compliance statement is issued as part of the regular ETSI plug tests. So now, starting with Release 9, we have added support for Sol 6 interfaces, which show up on the NSD and VNFD. So Sol 6 is the format or the YAML specification of the network service descriptor. So the fields, the labels, the names, the leaf nodes, everything that's inside of the network service descriptor and the VNF descriptor are dictated or prescribed by Sol 6. And in Release 9, we aligned with the Sol 6 format and basically dropped the proprietary format we were using before, which was a little bit of a community shift, and we provided some translation tools, but it marked a significant change in how we approach the network service descriptors and VNF descriptors. Now moving on to Release 11, and this is where something new comes in, and that is Sol 7 and Sol 4. These two are, as you can see from the diagram there, this is the file structure for the VNF package and the network service descriptor package. So it's not so much of a change. In fact, it should be pretty transparent to people. It's a packaging format. So Sol specifications basically said, well, when you upload a package, it has to be in zip format. We should find these files in there. Things should be in this subdirectory. So it's really more of a packaging thing, and the OSM client takes care of a bunch of that for you. But we have, we have recognized that change is not something that should be mandated, and we also took steps to ensure that Release 11 will continue to support the original package format that we've supported all along. So you now have a choice to use the industry aligned Sol 4 and Sol 7 specifications, or to continue to use the old format. Both will be supported in version 11. Next, I'd like to talk about our Vim plugin for Google Cloud. So here we can see a snapshot of OSM, where it's actually running a bunch of network services in Google Cloud. So the full life cycle of virtual machines in Google Cloud is taken care of, as well as something that I'd like to point out with the next slide, a little bit of a bonus, that is Google Cloud is a Kubernetes cluster. So there is complete transparency when it comes to doing an OSM K8s cluster add. You just add all of the, basically give the kube config from your Cloud connector, and you can use Google Cloud as a Kubernetes cluster as well. So this means you can deploy hybrid network services where there's some Kubernetes services running that could be in Google Cloud or in your private infrastructure. There could be VMs in Google Cloud, Azure, AWS, etc. Really mix and match all of these. And with some of the other features, which I'll get into in a moment, it really provides a powerful integration story. Next, I want to touch upon what we call the fine-grained operations in CNF. So as part of its lifecycle management, there is a component of OSM, which we call the VCA, which in some cases can be Juju, and that's used to basically control the life cycle of some of the deployed services, as well as being able to execute day 2 operations. With Juju 2.9, there's a new service or a new addition available to the Kubernetes side of things, which was called Beierl. So new that I don't even actually have an icon for it. You can just see there's no cutesy little picture. There's just a circle with the word Beierl in there. Beierl is actually something that can be injected using volumes or shared data. It's injected into any container that you're deploying, and it allows you to execute specific commands, like you can start and stop services inside of the container without needing to write custom scripts to live in the container. So you don't need to, write your own container for, say, a packet inspector that you have running. So you can just grab an upstream dpacket inspector as a container, have that be instantiated, and then actually have Juju insert the Beierl as part of the container itself, and that allows you to start and stop services without customizing the container. It allows you to also run commands inside the container. So if there's something that you want to expose, or if there's something that you need to be able to do inside of there beyond starting and stopping services, that can be done as a day 2 operation. And as well, it offers a files API. So if you need to be able to do something like change a file or push a file or even fetch a file out of the container, this offers you a secure and robust API to be able to do that as well as part of a day 2 operation. So say you were doing something like performing a backup of the statefulness or whatever state the container has, you'd be able to issue the backup and extract that backup file from your container. The next feature is the integration across PNF, VNF, and CNF, and this is something, if we take a look at the back to the Google Cloud feature, this is something that's really powerful. So the Kubernetes could be in Google Cloud, the OpenStack could be your private instance, and over on the right, that gray box is a physical network appliance, say a firewall or a load balancer or something. It's a PNF. OSM's not managing the life cycle of that. we now have the ability to specify relations between all hybrid network services in a deployment. So I can relate something, a deep packet inspector that's running inside of Kubernetes in Google Cloud with my firewall, which is going to send a T of packets to the deep packet inspector. So I can establish a relationship between these two things. And in that relationship, you're able to specify, okay, this is the data that I want to exchange between these two endpoints. Perhaps the deep packet inspector needs to tell the firewall, hey, this is the private IP address that I want you to T the data stream to. And the firewall will, reconfigure itself and say, okay, I'm going to start, sending a copy of all the packets going through the firewall. Even, maybe we'll want to do analysis of packets that are being denied due to any sort of policy. Maybe we'll send that to our deep packet inspector as well. Or maybe it's an artificial intelligence learning machine that's running in Google Cloud, and you want to be able to analyze some patterns of traffic and see what's going on. So these are the type of advancements in being able to do relationships and integration across hybrid environments that make Release 11 an exciting release. And the last thing that I wanted to highlight is the monitoring of Kubernetes clusters. Whoops, there we go. Monitoring of Kubernetes clusters. Right now with OSM, vanilla installation, default installation comes with a Prometheus and Grafana dashboard. And you can go into that Grafana dashboard and you can see metrics about your virtual infrastructure managers and VNFs, which is all OpenStack centric. Up until Release 11, we did not capture metrics from the Kubernetes cluster. With the addition of this feature in Release 11, you can now configure your Kubernetes cluster to have a Prometheus node exporter, and OSM will go ahead and gladly scrape your Prometheus cluster, and you'll be able to see metrics and view what is going on inside of your Kubernetes cluster in the same monitoring dashboard, metrics dashboard that you would use for monitoring your Vim and your VNFs. And this paves the way to be able to start doing policy operations such as scale based upon metrics in Kubernetes. We're not there yet. This is the first stepping stone towards that, and a significant milestone when it comes to a single pane of glass monitoring within OSM. So with that, these are sort of the major end user features that I wanted to highlight. So I think I went through that a little bit more quickly. We're a couple minutes ahead of schedule. So I do not know, is our, well, actually, let's take a moment to see if there's any questions or comments about the highlights from Release 11. You can either feel free to enter them into the chat, or if you prefer, you can just open your mic and ask a question. Give a couple more moments. If not, Gia, we'll see if our first presenter is ready.
Yes, so our first presenter is from SimilarMed. I'm not sure who is presenting. Okay, Thomas.
Oh.
So I think Thomas will start, and then we will hand over to a colleague of